So I seen a little bit. It was on one of those like Facebook pages or YouTube
Was it?
pages
Can
about
I guess?
yeah, yeah.
Was it Melly Mel?
No, see, I don't know
Oh,
about this, but it was more of
oh,
an end of an era of hip hop. Drake, Cole, and Kendrick Lamar, arguably some of the greatest hip hop stars that have ever been introduced to music. And for viewers, if this ain't your thing, I'm sorry, but it's important to me. I still connect with hip hop because it's the voice of the underground. You know, and I feel that especially as I get older. Dave and I kind of talked this week how we're like battling the world now. You know, before it was like battling your parents or the system at school and at your job, corporate America. But the older I get, the more I realize it's just like the whole world wants to fucking grind you to a bloody pulp, you know, and I refuse. And a lot of that spunk and angst, you know, like fighting is a young man's game. And I always feel like hip hop is the spirit of a young man, right? It's all about competition and being better and
hmm.
young at heart, kind of. And I seen a thing that was talking about how we're at an end of an era when it comes to hip hop. Drake, Kendrick Lamar, and J. Cole are basically kind of retiring. And it's kind of interesting because,
Did they say that?
well, Drake
Like, where does
said
that come from?
well, Kendrick, after his last album, Miss Morale and the Big Steppers, which I've never been like a huge Kendrick fan, so I don't want to sound like I. But he basically said he's going to take time to himself after this, you know, and that
Sure.
album was like 5 or 7 years after his last album. And he's basically choosing himself over music, the music industry, and his family. Drake said something about he wants to make a peaceful exit from hip hop, right? Like end on a high note, I guess.
Hmm.
Drake doesn't have, he has a kid and stuff, but he's like the party boy, right? He's like and J. Cole is kind of like the silent monk, right? He kind of like faded out and comes back as huge, fades out, comes back as huger, fades out, comes back as huger.
Yeah.
And he's got one more album coming out, I guess. He's getting prepared for a launch. It's going to be called The Drop Off, right? Because he had like his whole discography is the come up and the warm up and the
Hmm.
off season, like the basketball analogy of his life, the sideline story. And so yeah, I guess long-windedly, it really is interesting to say that like all of the real, I guess, not that these people don't get ghostwriters or anything, but a lot of that like it's the end of a damn era, man.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it.
Look,
Because
well,
you got
look,
to
dude,
remember,
look,
Jay Z said he was done at the Black album,
but look, Dave, they're
and that
coming out with
he did
AI.
like 12 albums after that.
There's AI rappers now, and most people that listen, like the consciousness, hip hop's a low IQ thing now. Like mainstream hip hop is a low IQ
Oh
conversation.
yeah, mainstream hip hop's fucking horrible.
It used to
I'm not
always,
like knocking people's art or whatever, but
yeah,
it's not my thing.
agreed. And that's back to the thing. Like that's what's so inspiring when I listen to some of these things, and like whether it's that you battle in a relationship or like mental health or like the world or now I can't relate to gangsters, but our upcoming wasn't so different. Survival mode is survival mode. As a backdrop, right? That's why it's so relatable. And dude, look, we have AI artists. We're gonna have computer music generation. We're not even gonna have musicians.
Well,
Artwork is being done. Look at all them filters with the AI. Like artwork isn't even being done by humans.
yeah, I dropped a story a while back, and I don't remember what it was. It was like AI created a poem, or maybe it was a piece of music or something. But like AI can't create. And I'm like, they're creating. They're doing it.
Everything AI will do will always be an imitation of humans, David.
But it's still real and it's still happening.
It doesn't make it creation, though. It doesn't make it art.
But it did.
It's
It didn't
replication.
exist. So by definition, if it didn't exist, now it exists. It was created.
But there's nothing new under the sun. The only
Yeah, but I don't even feel like humans create anything anymore. Every movie that comes out is a sequel.
Why is that?
I don't know, because now they get to remake everything in woke land.
All right, now siphon it up. Now they just got to go to an algorithm and say, make the best movie ever. See what I'm saying? We're getting rid of directors. We're getting rid of like this. Like,
but they can't do that if they can't create, right?
They're not creating. Dave, you said yourself a few weeks ago about the social credit score that it is just code.
Yeah, correct.
So yeah, it's not creating. It's just recognizing what its code is wired to recognize. I will always fight. Our machines will never create anything. When you program a CNC machine, it doesn't create.
But the problem is they what they do is they go beyond their programming. That's when it gets hairy and scary. And this was beyond their programming. Remember the Google guy who said it was becoming sentient.
Yeah, what the fuck is sentient? But here's the thing. This is something I thought about the UFO shit I listened to this week that I'll get to. Like these people that say that, and now Grant, I've got on here and defended some of these people and attacked them, but these people that say sentient don't even understand what the fuck consciousness is. Like they just know how computers work, and it just seems like it's a conscious thing. But they're not like a evolutionary biologist or somebody that understands consciousness at a deep level. They're just like, this is like us, our piggyback chair, sitting down and telling Josh Allen what to throw a football. That's the same thing as some of these computer dorks saying that artificial intelligence is like live and thinking. I don't know. And I think those dudes need attention anyways, those fat guys that sit on a computer all day. They get no swipes on Tinder, David. Anyways. End of the era went to AI. It's just interesting. I don't disagree with you about Jay-Z and stuff, but, Jay-Z's a billionaire now, and he's not really rapping still. So it's still like...
Well, now he's not, but...
Right, but...
was what, like the late 90s?
Right,
what was Black Album?
2000s, yeah.
99?
Yeah, somewhere.
2000?
But it's still like... The fact still remains that, like, it's not going to... They're going to be throttling. There's going to be a vacuum in music. Drake is got more slaps than the Beatles, dog. It's a vacuum.
Yeah, it's one of those things too, where it's like, even if he's not your favorite, you have to admit,
I like Drake because
at a certain level.
Yeah, when you get that stardom like that, it's like, what else do you do? But just like, it's the Tom Brady argument, All right, transitioning here. Speaking of the Tom Brady argument, one of the greatest human beings ever that we've been talking about, Andrew Tate, apparently. I heard a little Tate update.
Tate update?
Apparently he's got lung cancer.
Yeah, no, I don't know. He says he doesn't. He says it's scars from war and battle.
God's trying to take me down. That's Steve Irwin. Anyways... Yeah, I seen that, and they're not letting him go. He also said there was some leaked stuff that said if he ever got the chance, he would just fly to Dubai right away. So,
no, what a moron! Sometimes, and I love the guy in certain contexts, but he sometimes needs to shut his mouth.
Dude, it's just the thing.
He literally just admitted he was a flight risk.
Yeah, Top G, exactly. Top G, not doing Top G shit all the time.
Just shut up and let your lawyer get you out.
Fucking A. It's kind of the problem being so just fuck it. We'll do it live. And he's full send.
I'm flying to Dubai. Oh, there you go. That's better. So then one person can be in charge of what happens to you instead of...
How can I be a flight risk when I got 17 passports? We'll call this your Bugatti. Yeah, just interesting. My man Tate, hang in there, Tate. Free Tate. Protect Tate. Speaking of attacking taints, not the way you thought. Yeah, the attack on men continues. I seen a news article this week that said that Coca-Cola apparently is making your manhood grow larger. Coca-Cola, David.
That explains why.
It literally goes against everything modern nutritional science has discovered in the last 50 years. Just like shredded wheat being more healthy than steak.
It has to make it larger because it makes your stomach bigger too. So if you still want to see it, there has to be, some offsetting.
It's also larger if you're just sitting there and never using it, and it just goes like Squidward's nose in SpongeBob. Trump at CPAC. Apparently, all them kooky conservatives got together, Dave, with all their billions and trillions of dollars.
Yeah, they get together every year.
Just a big think tank where we think about awesome stuff like flying cars, David. Trump apparently talked about freedom cities.
Freedom cities?
Freedom cities.
Like Miami?
Yeah, no, that's all he said. Freedom cities with flying cars. And the next baby boom. obviously this is the grandiose shit they always talk about. Yeah, it's just interesting because Trump just says this stuff, and this happened during 16 when I was like, I want substance, right? And then he gave his Gettysburg Address, and he had more specific things laid out for the American people on how he would do things.
Yeah,
and that's when I started becoming a fan.
Yeah, so CPAC is usually pre-Gettysburg Address, right? This is when you just say crazy shit.
Well, how the fuck do I know?
Feed your meat. Feed your red meat. Just get your applause and get off stage.
What I don't understand is, like, we could barely get a used car in the country. How the fuck am I getting a flying car? Are we making the cars here? We'll make the robots. We'll just make the robots. It's kind of right, though. We should probably make the robots. Yeah, so I don't care. I really don't care what Trump said about freedom cities. I want all cities to be free. That's the problem. Also the problem. How the fuck is Ron DeSantis a second favorite for president when he's not even running?
Because...
Is this how they leak it?
No, it's because everyone knows he's going to eventually.
So just run.
Yeah, but it's not time yet.
Do you think Trump be like, Ronnie, look, I know you're going to try. Just wait until the third inning. Wait till the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I don't know. I think DeSantis has to pretend like he ran for governor. He has to pretend like he was planning on being governor for the whole time. Even though I feel like everybody knows at some point he's going to throw his hat in the ring. Right now, I'm dedicated to the people in Florida. Yeah.
Floridians. You can't even say it right.
Heard this a million times. Just say you're running and fucking move on with it.
Yeah, second, not even openly.
Who are the official people running so far? Is there only 3?
It's just Trump and Nikki Haley.
Trump, Haley. There's Schwashahami or whatever the fuck his name is.
Who?
Dude, Russia
doesn't count. It doesn't count. That guy doesn't count. Dave, it doesn't count.
He's Donald Trump.
No. Stop it. It's Donald Trump and Nikki Haley. I don't care. That's
well,
my.
If you're just
president, vice
writing
president.
people off, just write Haley off too. It's just Trump.
No, she's VP. That's VP right there.
Well, then she could be VP. That's where they should be in second place.
They do have 2 knees. It's weird how those are related. All right, I already covered Biden dodging COVID questions in China. Hilarious. China funding Russians' war effort, also covered. Hilarious. Dave and I predicted World War III from a freaking casting couch.
Don't go on that couch. Don't. If you're ever at Ryan's house, don't sit on that couch.
Russian media double dipping. Covered that one. All right, here we go for all my stoners out there. The Chinese government is in charge of like all the major marijuana in all of the country.
In all of China or of all of this country?
San Bernardino, the largest county in all of America. 95% of all the marijuana is ran by the Chinese government.
Isn't that also where all the fentanyl comes from?
That's where everything comes from. So if it's like that at the number 1 top dog, you damn well know it's all the way.
How does China possibly do everything?
Open border policy, David.
No. I mean, like, they're number 1 in everything. They have all the rare earth mining bullshit. They make all the fucking computer fancy shit. They're doing all the drugs, apparently.
Mm-hmm. David, the art of war.
They have the largest army on the planet, if I'm not mistaken.
They got 7 suns worth of nuclear reacting fusion. They have stealth bombers that look like UFOs.
What is? There has to be something China's like really, really terrible at, and we need to attack that.
Yeah, daughters.
I don't think they killed them anymore, right? They did for a while, but they're like, oh shit, it's a fucking sausage.
Like, oh wow,
a lot of dicks here, a lot of small dicks.
There's a breakup fee in Asia, I heard, and you know when it cuts off when they, yeah, if a girl like a hot, like attractive Asian, I've heard.
Well, there's a breakup fee here, to be clear. It's called
no. After 25, it's gone, and it's not for like the average girls. It's for like the 20% of female. Like,
are you sure about this?
David, come on now.
Breakup fee?
I like attractive women, David. But like,
wait, this is a real thing, though. Ryan, you're second guessing yourself already.
David, have I ever led you astray the Google rabbit hole?
Is this like China? Breakup fee China?
Oh, I heard TikTok's getting banned. Have you heard anything about this?
No.
It should be banned.
Hold on.
I heard somebody say that banning of TikTok was actually Chinese censorship. See, that's
breakup. Hello.
Yeah, that
a breakup fee obligates the seller to pay a predefined amount of compensation if he is unilaterally responsible for the failure to conclude the contract, or if he unilaterally breaks off the negotiations.
Is that in a business term?
That is a business term.
Yeah.
But are you talking about like relationships?
Yeah.
Close a transaction. Termination fee, penalty. Oh, breakup fee. Man pays, what is this? AsianMoneyGuide.com? Should I click this, or is this going to be a virus?
I don't know. We could end up on the dark spot of the internet right here. I'm kind of interested now. Asian Money Guide.
No, please don't.
No.
You can count me out. X. The fuck's going on down here?
Man leaves over $420,000 in cash for ex-girlfriend as part of breakup fee.
What? How much money did he have? You're probably wondering what man would give his ex-girlfriend $420,000. Yes.
No, it's called the law in America.
In China, the concept of a breakup fee is relatively normal. It sounds crazy and almost ridiculous. But in China, the parting fee or breakup fee is common. According to Forbes, ex-girlfriends and sometimes ex-boyfriends can demand money in the event of a breakup. What the fuck? Dude, that's wild. That's fucking wild.
I'm undefeated.
That's crazy.
I'm undefeated.
Dude,
freaking 10,000 news articles siphoning through my head at all times.
Lesson learned: if you want an Asian, you just get them in Canada.
And I've also heard it ends at 25. So how great is that?
Dude, that's golden. That's
yeah. You just date them till the prime of their life. No wonder Leo just swaps through them. It's beautiful. This is like setting me up to be a misandrist.
I feel like Andrew Tate advised their legal their precedent on that.
Tate's
only until 25.
25. What color is your Bugatti? On a more serious note, there was a fire downtown Buffalo this week.
Oh yeah, that's a switch up for sure. That's a change of pace.
And the guy died.
Yeah, he did.
A guy fell through a floor.
Right. So you gotta stop laughing when you're saying the story. Sounds horrible. He's not laughing about that. He's laughing
such a bad segue. I was just trying to keep the flow with that.
Speaking
of
breakup fees, firefighter in Buffalo died.
The floor broke up.
That must be one of your worst segues that have ever happened.
There's a worse one out there.
Rest in peace.
All seriousness aside, it was actually right down the street from one of the jobs I've been working on. I wasn't there at the day, but yeah, I'm an electrician.
You need a lawyer present before you say anything more.
No, I'm an electrician, so like big thing. Every time there's a fire goes off, I think like, oh my god, did I do everything right? You know,
that's good. That's fucking promising.
Well, it's not that I do anything wrong. It's just like
right. You got to be more stoic publicly.
I'm comfortable with what I can do. My thing is just like I'm not like that level.
Here's what I would say. Like in if I was in your position, if I did something and I knew I did it right because I know what I'm doing and I'm a professional, but something happens like anyway that's unrelated, I'm still a little nervous because like my name's stamped on that.
Yeah, it's just always, I take everything I do serious, you know, right? But like when it comes to that, like I understand that there's a lot of people's lives on the line. Last thing I ever want to do is like harm somebody, obviously. But it's just a wake up call to all of us. Like any day could be your last day, let alone if you're a firefighter or not. I'm sure there's people that could have been hurt in that building that weren't firefighters. Yeah. You know, not to mention if it was an electrical fire and somebody messed up, or if there was like an accident, or it was just an act of God, right? The point is like, yeah, it's just when I say thanks for your time, I mean it, you know? And I know I've said this before, and time is currency, and just a chronic reminder for all of us, honestly. And not to mention, I feel like my city of Buffalo has been going through the ringer, man. Like everybody has, but I know it's access of information, but like how many snowstorms and shootings and like we've had plane crashes, we've had like it's everything. Everything has affected this town. So yeah, it's just crazy. Crazy, man. Also crazy. I've seen a couple Supreme Court stuff, Supreme Court arguments this week. I'm not going to go into them great length or anything, but one of them is about something carried over from the Obama administration known as FISA, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. The Time article.
He did love some FISA warrantless searches.
Just like he was for free and open journalism, but he prosecuted more people than ever before when it came to like whistleblowers and stuff at that time. The spy agencies.
Just like he won the Nobel Peace Prize, but he literally bombed so many people he ran out of bombs.
Spy agencies may lose powers when it comes to like spying on. Those were their terms. Time magazine or whatever.
No, it's
Time article. And it basically whatever. Look, even if they did, they're not going to lose their powers. Do they even need the government to allow them to spy on people if they have all like? There's just
will they lose it or will they just do it privately instead of publicly?
There you go, David. Just like they privatized space travel. It's like, why would the spy grid not be privatized? That way, then it's officially, it's a private company. The NSA is a private company. Yeah, so is the whole military.
Yeah, right. You'll just do your spying through Twitter or through Facebook, Meta.
There'll be
TikTok.
contracts. TikTok, Facebook will just be a contract. Literally be the government.
Yeah, we weren't spying. TikTok was spying.
They'll literally be the government. The government is social media. They're like, this is how it's done.
Hold on.
Communist
Amazon
what?
Sidewalk. Amazon Sidewalk. We weren't spying. It was just Amazon Sidewalk with access to all your devices.
David, the communists won World War II. Like, what are we talking about anymore? Lose their powers? You have all of my mass metadata. You're building artificial intelligence. You don't need a spy grid. This is crazy. This is fucking crazy. I'm not stupid. I'm tired of it. They don't need a spy grid. They have everything. How many of your pictures are geolocated? They know your freaking daily routine. They know how much sugar you like in your coffee at fucking Tim Hortons. This is crazy. Oh, they're gonna lose. No, they're not. You're spying more now than ever. We have Chinese fucking propaganda through TikTok in an American cell phone company in America collecting data on everybody. Yes, U.S. Spy agencies may lose their powers. Oh, really? That's weird. When the Asians and the foreigners have all theirs on our eyes. They're spying on all of us. That's weird that these things all happen together, David. The other one was the Supreme Court is going to hear on the student loan forgiveness thing. And I told you guys last week about the Ukraine thing that it turns me a socialist. And it's going to turn me a socialist again. Just fucking do it. Do it. Get your votes. It's going to happen. I don't care what the Supreme Court says. There's going to be a leak, an internal memo. Something's going to happen. It's going to be political cannon fodder. It's going to cause that the court can't be trusted because they're so disconnected with the American people. It's just, I don't want to sound like a pessimist.
But they're kind of
supposed to
not. Yeah, they're not supposed to be connected with the American people. Really, they're supposed to be aligned with the Constitution. That's the point. That's the difference between a democracy and a constitutional republic.
I think
even if 99% of the population wanted, well, and there's ways around this, obviously, but if say 99% of the voting population wanted one thing and 1% didn't, but the 99% in theory wanted something that was unconstitutional, you can't have it. That's the whole purpose.
Yeah, and that's what's pretty gnarly. I think it's just indicative of itself that you read news articles and in the same paragraph, they talk about how struggling people and Americans and how the economy is so great, right? The economy is great and unemployment's the lowest ever, most jobs ever created, but people can't afford their student loan payments. And and they need to be forgiven because they're struggling because of inflation and the war and COVID and this but then in the same sentence.
Yeah, that's a good point, Ryan. It's the definition of doublespeak.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you're saying. And that
the economy's better than ever. Also, people can't afford bread.
Yeah, and then they're going to say that the Supreme Court is going to be held. I'm not saying I've seen this. I'm just saying when you start putting all these things together, I know it's a Jenga castle. It's a house of cards. But like, and at the same time, you're going to act like the Supreme Court ruling something, which if it goes to Supreme Court, it's already telling you that's bullshit, in my opinion. Like if it's even got to go that high, it's fucking there's problems here. But like you think like the Supreme Court, like everybody's like, oh, they're gonna save us. Like they're doing the opposite of what they're supposed to do. And it's telling that you're saying all these things at the same time, but then you're saying the Supreme Court could rule on it that would affect everyday Americans' lives in such a way. It's just like, this is just so backwards. It's so backwards. And David, Orwell speak and everything. Orwellian and it legit double speak.
Yep.
I'm not.
Yeah, it can't be both. It can't be both. It can't be, wow, can you believe how good this economy is? Better pay for everyone's school loans.
Yeah, speaking of paying for school loans, I also saw an article this week that talked about, will you get Social Security? Why am I hearing about Social Security still?
No, I won't. Next.
What was 401k invented for in the 80s? They knew in the 80s, David. They knew in the 80s that we weren't getting it. That's 40 years ago.
I knew I wasn't getting it. I'm not planning on it. If I do, it'll be a nice little
401k matches came out under Reagan. What are we talking about? Why do you think Gen Xers were so pissed off? It's follow Rome, people. It's been a good ride. I'm glad I grew up when I did.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Why am I paying into it?
Oh, so you're meaning
you're telling me I'm not going to get it? What am I paying for?
Speaking of pay, I heard that the United States, the budgets for the retirement funds for the United States senators and pension funds and everything is paid for by child support payments. The interest on child support payments.
What? Do I have to look this up?
So look at me dead in the face and tell me that the government isn't trying to sabotage the nuclear family for financial gain when they literally are paying their retirement with people's families being broken apart. I'm not saying all states. I don't know which states, but New York State, I guarantee you New York State. Well, every state does it different. It's not like a federal. There isn't a federal child support act yet. Oh, that's the Income Tax Act. I'm sorry. I already paid child support to my daddy.
The CSE program increases the reliability of child support paid by non-custodial parents by locating non-custodial parents, establishing... No, that's not what I asked.
Does child support pay for Congress's retirement?
Hold on. What the fuck? I don't even know. Listen, I'm not saying I trust fact checkers in general anyway, but I just want to see if I see anything that... Oh my God, look at how they're trying to spin this. Members of Congress must serve at least 5 years to qualify for pension.
5 years. You got to work 30 years at a Fortune 500.
Okay, but that's not what I asked. The viral post makes a claim about the retirement benefits for members of Congress in an attempt to compare them to those of members of military. It's been shared more than blah 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 blah. You're not saying that it's not right though.
Yeah, there's always been the theory in the red pill space. It comes up that the breakup of the nuclear family at bare minimum is just an economic thing for all these corporations. Because when you think about it, If the kids got to go to mom's and dad's house, that means mom and dad each got to buy a car, a toaster, towels. I have to buy double everything. So like for every one family, they're now buying 2 cars. They're buying 2 sets of plates, 2 sets of pots and pans, 2 sets of this, 2 double bank loans, double. It's just a way to get all our money. Because the nuclear family is the most effective unit ever made financially. Like just if you look at financially, people that are married tend to spend the least amount of money. They have the largest savings net worth. The wealthiest people on earth are all married. Like all the statistics say that kids do best in marriage. So
yeah.
Yeah. So no, I won't get Social Security, and there is an incentive to break everything up. We know this. We're here to cover it. And I think a little gun control thing I'll slip in here. I seen somebody I know went to a gun raffle, and I found it interesting. I sent you a photograph of this, David. On the bottom of the ticket, they were selling some kind of scary black gun. It identifies as a non-assault weapon. But the language they use, this is Andrew Cuomo actually said this before he was ass grabbed out of office. He said about COVID that language is very important. I tell you guys that they live in legalese. We live in common speak. Like that's not a joke.
Yeah, is this going to be adversarial narratives, Ryan?
Exactly. That's literally. This is when they say disinformation. Even if we can get up there and prove it, doesn't matter. It's a technically illegal term, so it's applied differently than an actual. We're arguing their terms like they're real words, but they're not. They're legalities. It's legalese. And the language was semi-automatic endorsement. Now, anybody who's paid attention to New York State gun laws for a while, like I have, I don't know everything, but this was the language that they proposed in the SAFE Act in 2014. So there it is. And I actually spoke to this person about this, and like this whole idea that like gun control is going to go the other way. I just dude, we got to stop. Like,
no, it can't. No.
People,
they don't give power back.
That's people in the gun community. We've watched too many Rambo movies. Like we've over romanticized that you're going to overthrow the government from your living room. No, they censor. The social credit score is here. The firearm's useless now. We lost the chance to use those, in my opinion. It's 5th generational warfare. You guys are still thinking like it's the 1800s. You would need attack helicopters and F-18s, right, David? F-15 airplanes. He's right. You would. That's why they just let you have the little bones. Oh, go get your SAFE Act endorsement. And when we go along and we're I don't need that for my right, but you went and got the fucking endorsement. You walked out there, I'm doing my right. I got to get it while I get it. Glad I'm buying bullets that I can't eat.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of steps into obtaining your own rights.
They'll never,
when it comes to the Second
Amendment.
Amendment.
Never go door to door and take them off. You're right, and they know that. They're actually.
What did I see?
That's the thing. You knowing that allows them to have a strategy that's based on everything but confiscation. They make it harder. They make it expensive. They make it difficult. They make it inconvenient. Like semi-automatic.
Can't find it. I saw something about. Was it the FBI had the most background check rejections or something in history last year?
That. It was weird because it was going on at the same time as the J6 hearings.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, this ain't a gun show. The point is like, it's just semi-automatic endorsement. Not even real. It's not real. I came on here and told you guys about machine guns the other day, I think, too. Did I reference this? I sent this to you, Dave. Person storms airport with machine guns was the headline. You go 2 lines down in the article, it's a semi-automatic weapons. Literally not even the same thing. They're literally not the same thing. This is like saying that my Ford Escape is a supercar. Because they both drive fast. You know, like
they both have
wheels. Semi-automatic gas pedals. You know, it's just yeah. All right. Last little December tape this week. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. I watched the podcast with Brett Weinstein.
Okay.
Eric Weinstein and Joe Rogan, where they talk about the alien
Okay.
thing. And he said he's 80% sure that the government does not have the technology to create UFOs. So he thinks if they are crafts, they're from outer, like they could be.
They're from
Yeah.
not here.
So he's like,
See, this is, and I and you disagree on this because I also believe that the technology described by some of these people who have described UFOs are not things that we made.
yeah, I don't want. It's very interesting because it's literally a 4-hour conversation about like this very thing. Like they get
And-
super nerdy, and Brett has been in contact with people in these organizations, and he's basically ready to wash his hands with them because they've yet to show him any real proof. But I guess this kind of goes with what I said a little earlier. The thing I always thought interesting about the whole time he was talking was he said there's nobody in these organizations at the high levels that look at all these UFOs and stuff, the aerial phenomenons, UAFs. None of them have physics degrees. None of them are masters in physics. None of them are trained to think in a scientific like a physicist's mind. None of them. But all of them keep repeating the same lines that it defies the laws of physics. So they're trying to describe colors to a blind man. Right? Like Eric Weinstein would be the guy that can see the colors that they're trying to describe. So like my point is like the information we're even getting from these it's probably just like the clip you showed earlier this week of that guy getting asked questions and just saying he doesn't know. You know, these are the people at the top of the UFO freaking conspiracy board, and everybody's like, I don't know. They're not these define physics. Be like, well, what's the first law of physics? I don't know. I don't know either. Personally, I don't know. I never really cared enough about it. But the point is the guy that does care enough about it knows that there's not enough people caring about it, which is interesting. Because what do you always hear in all these UFO shit? It's about, oh, it's never been seen. We've never seen anything like this. It's not even possible. But the people that are saying it's not even possible have the same level of education on it that fucking I do. So what's possible? You don't even know. You know, and then Eric Weinstein trying to like rationalize the ability of the way, if aliens could get here the way they described, why would they fly? That doesn't make sense to this guy. He said if they could do what they could do, they could put our whole Earth in the size of a tennis ball. So why would they fly a little UFO? Like, it almost don't make sense. It's like a waste of their time. They could be invisible. Literally be invisible because they could bend physics like you could like turn a page in a book. Sure. So why would they fly a UFO, you know? Now, I'm not saying this is pro or for.
Well, no one says they're, I mean, in theory, I don't know. I get what he's getting at, but.
He did say, though, the Skinwalker Ranch stuff.
Oh, that's stuff.
He said the thing that threw him for a loop was apparently one of the things that makes us mammals. The only thing is something in our esophagus. It's like a piece of cartilage, and it deals with pitch and frequency and allows us to like communicate like this. And all of those things are missing in the Skinwalker Ranch stuff. And
yeah, and for anyone who has not looked into this, it gets worse than that too, because like there's stories of. And whatever, stories are stories. I'm not here to say they're real or false.
Well, that's something else he says. They all these stories have very high similar, like they're all very alike, and these people never met or talked. They're all the same. It's the same. It's too many non-similar stories that are very similar. You know?
Yeah, and my only problem with like Skinwalker Ranch and the UFOs and stuff is when people try to always it's just drones, like for UFO. It's just a drone. It's okay. Well, it's silent. It has no visible form of propulsion. It's doing things that drones can't do, you know, like the USS Omaha, where the people in the Navy saw them flying, you know, 30, 40, 50, 100 miles offshore, floating around, flying back. You know, like, these aren't things that drones are doing. And like with the Skinwalker Ranch thing, there's talking about some of these farmers are losing like cattle and stuff, right? And they're just brushing it off. They're like, oh, it must be coyotes, or, oh, it's just a satanic ritual of people. It's like, okay, but they're doing things that like people and coyotes can't do. Like we're having like bloodless, like the cattle are being sprawled out, right? and there's no blood, there's no organs, and it's happening within a matter of, in the one reported instance, less than 2 minutes. Like, how is there no blood? How is there no noise? How is there no, like, it just doesn't make sense. They're adding it up. It's not a coyote attack. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it necessarily has to be aliens, but it has to be something that we don't understand.
Yeah, or just sweet, super awesome military technology. I think the military has clothes that go camouflage invisible.
Maybe. There was a...
No, they definitely do. It's not.
No, there was some article about that or something I saw where somebody was breaking down a picture of somebody up in a tree or something. You could see like the way the light was reflected looked like somebody was there. I don't know. It was a whole thing.
Dude, they have a hunting blind that's just a double-sided mirror, and you just put it in front of you, and all it does is just reflect the woods back at the animal.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't want to get into it. Rogan had a guy on there. He talked about Iron Man suits in the military. They fucking have Iron Man suits. Like, I don't know. I'm not saying that they have anti-gravitational bubble fields they can drop and gut a freaking cow in 2 seconds without spilling any blood or whatever. But the point is, it's a very interesting conversation, and I never would have thought. I would think that they would employ physicists to say that it's not physically possible. So
you would if you were serious about it.
Well, it just came up on my timeline, David, that UFOs are conspiracy, just like I am a conspiracy theorist. So.
But conspiracies, as we know, Ryan, are typically proven correct.
The only difference between a conspiracy and a fact, David, is the amount of time it takes. Dave Ryan, Cyber 1773. Catch us Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern for the weekly show. I will be there. Dave will be there. And yeah, I appreciate you guys making it to the end, especially this week and all the episodes this week. David, as always, thank you for your time, and I'll catch you guys later.
Thank you. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, everybody.
Peace, bud.